What's up, guys? We're back for another home video review. Today we're talking about a movie that I would call a gem that is unfortunately, like a lot of great movies over the past few years, isn't getting a lot of attention. It feels like it came and went. It got one of those one night only in select theaters kind of theatrical runs, which is kind of cool. But I feel like it's a double-edged sword because like a decade ago, this 100% would have been like a movie you would find in family video, direct to DVD. So I think while it's kind of cool that movies like this get a little theatrical run, I think it's way worse because after that, they just kind of end up getting buried on Tubi with a million other movies with similar covers and shit like that. But anyway, I'm ranting. The movie is Freaky Tales. It is a kind of a crime action anthology. It was produced by Too Short, who also has a cameo in the movie and is portrayed by another actor as late 80s Too Short, which is kind of cool. But it's kind of like an homage to Oakland, California in the late 80s. It is also basically an homage to Quentin Tarantino, for sure. The structure is very reminiscent of Pulp Fiction, where it's it feels like one story being told to you in fragments with all these different paths intersecting and coming together and shit like that. Another big pull from Quentin Tarantino is the way it's kind of told true stories, almost like urban legends that have been passed around about things that have happened in Oakland around that time, but it's obviously told very exaggeratedly, kind of like Inglourious Bastards or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or whatever. And I don't know about most of the stories, if there's any bit of truth to them. I know the Sleepy Floyd thing. I mean, that's 100% that happened. Not the way it's told in the movie. But yeah, Sleepy Floyd was a basketball player, and there probably was a game like this. And this is just kind of taking stuff like that, throwing it in this crazy anthology scenario where they can do whatever they want. So yeah, the whole movie's dripping with Quentin Tarantino influence, and that's not a bad thing, because I think the movie actually feels like something that could have come out during that era of mid-90s indie movies like Reservoir Dogs, basically all the stuff that played on IFC in the 90s. It feels like one of those movies. But yeah, so it's a weird action anthology. It also has a sci-fi element with this mysterious green energy. It's not super fleshed out, but it's basically just there as a representation, I guess, of resolve to overcome the situations in the story, or maybe even just independence itself. It's hard to explain if you haven't seen it, but if you go watch it, you'll know what I'm saying. But that's a message I can get behind, and it's done in a cool aesthetic. I'm an easy mark for green glowy stuff, so they got me there, and it gives the movie a 80s B-movie feel to it, which is obviously something I gravitate towards. And so yeah, that green energy kind of loosely connects all these stories of there's rap battles, high stakes rap battles, punk rockers versus Nazis, which is awesome, and just sweet ass revenge, all kind of underdog stories you can get behind. So yeah, for me personally, they just combined all these things I love anyway in a way that works. And it kind of feels like the movie was made for me and my kind of people, if you know what I'm saying. I feel like the big draw though, if you're not sold yet, if you aren't normally quick to jump on these kind of low budget movies, and I don't want to oversell that low budget thing. I mean, it's got a solid production value. It's got a good cast that's actually used. It is technically low budget. I think if you're watching my channel, you probably watch shit like Sledgehammer and Full Moon stuff or whatever. So when I say low budget, I mean, it is technically. And I think for somebody who doesn't have like a stomach for low budget whatsoever will feel that. So yeah, I don't want to oversell the low budget thing. It's a well-made movie. But yeah, that being said, if you're not sold on it yet, I would say some of the cast might entice you to give this thing a whirl. Namely the obvious one, which is Pedro Pascal, the biggest movie star of the 2020s pretty much. He's in this randomly somehow, and his segment is one of the best segments. Also though, Tom Hanks pops up, and he's a little bit of a cameo, but he gets like a 5-minute scene with Pedro Pascal that's all dialogue, and he is absolutely chewing the scenery, and it's pretty great. So yeah, and for what the movie is, I don't feel like there's a lot of negative stuff to harp on. If I had to be a dick, the one thing I would say is that the portrayal of the punk scene is a little bit flowery. I mean, they obviously like did this to make them super likable so that the audience could get behind them, especially like a modern audience. But, and please correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not like a punk rock expert, but I am like a casual admirer of most forms of counterculture, punk rock included. And I don't think they were like this wholesome melting pot of like inclusion and acceptance like the movie portrays. It didn't bother me. Like I got what they were doing immediately, but it does seem a little bit like rose-colored revisionist history in a way. But again, that's just me like finding something negative. It's fine. These are, you know, movie protagonist punk rockers more so than real punk rockers. And it fits with the tone of the movie where they just kind of like, you know, change stuff around for the sake of the story and entertainment or whatever. So yeah, for me, this is a 4-star banger. It really hits home with me. It combines like a lot of shit that I just like in a way that doesn't feel forced. It feels like a genuine movie instead of a product. It's filled with goofs, gaffs, and laughs all throughout. It is Slasher Home Video approved, even though that's not a thing, but I guess it is for this video. I highly recommend you go check it out. Don't let it get buried in obscurity. Go tell your friends. Go rent it. I think as of right now, it doesn't have any kind of physical media release, but I'm pretty sure it got distributed by Lionsgate in the theatrical run. So maybe there's a chance someday, like at the very least, you might get a DVD from Walmart or something. But until then, yeah, go support it. Let the industry know you want stuff like this because it is good stuff. And most importantly, this might be the most important thing I've ever said on the channel, and I'm only going to say this once, so listen up. We'll never...
Retro Crypt, the #1 purveyor of subhumanoid lifestyle products. Find clothing, home decor, collectibles, and more. Like this glow-in-the-dark Tales from the Crypt t-shirt, only $24.99. Or how about Toxie himself, 7 inches of superhuman size and strength. For any shelf in your house, only $54.99. Or these Goosebumps magnets, featuring classic cover art from Jim Jacobus, starting at only $10.99. That's www.retrocryptco.com. Join us today, if you dare.
And that's the solution. It's pretty simple. So yeah, again, that was probably the most important thing I've ever said on this channel. So hopefully you didn't miss it. Anywho, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And until next time.